and blue for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. What a wonderful world.
That was the first time in 9 years that I've been on natural ice. It's never been as cold as it is right now. They call it the Beast of the East or something, but you know, that's why I had to go out there and stand on the ice. Anyway, all of that was filmed on this thing, the LG V30, the phone that I unboxed about 2 weeks ago. So I've had about 2 weeks with it, and I think it's time for a comprehensive review of it. This is my comprehensive review of the LG V30. Now I've had this phone for about 2 weeks, enough for me to get around with and figure out what's good and what's bad. I want to say something before we get started. This is my first technology phone review I've ever done. If you're not very interested in phones, long story short, I really like this phone more than I thought I would. And for everyone else, let's start off with a little bit of context. So this is the phone that I had before. It was a Samsung Galaxy S4. I've had this phone for about 5 years. It's 5 years old. Can you believe that? Now, to be honest, I've never really thought I needed a new phone because I don't think there's a lot of difference between these two models. Now, before you get angry with me, let me explain. These two phones can do pretty much the same thing. They run the same system, they run the same apps. This phone is a little bit bigger, a little bit faster. But aside from that, it's just minor improvements. It's nothing big. See, comparing the upgrade from this thing to this thing is nothing compared to this thing to this thing. Or even this thing to this thing. For 5 years worth of development time, I think that the differences between these two phones are completely minor. Not worth the price tag that is on current day modern smartphones. First, there's the screen. There's just so much display on this device. It is absolutely insane. If you compare that to this, like seriously, if you go over this device, if you look at it and then you go back to this, it is a world of difference. This looks old. Especially when it comes to watching YouTube videos. Look, this is how you normally watch YouTube videos. This is the standard mode, but the zooming in on this is just so good. It's so immersive. It's like the video is all you're holding. I really like this mode, especially for movies. It's absolutely great. And whenever looking back to a phone like this, you instantly see the age difference, which I think is a good thing. Aside from display, another important feature I think is the sound.
Oh yes. Give it to me.
That's loud enough. That's pretty good. Now, one of the things I've always been concerned with the new phones is the lack of a removable battery. I personally really like the ability to remove your battery because if the phone dies or something happens, you can just remove the battery and put a new one back in. That's why I decided to do the best battery test there is, called the 10 minutes couch battery test. For this test, we play 10 minutes of couch footage with max brightness, max speaker, and all energy savers off. So we drain as much energy as possible for 10 minutes. And the results, they were pretty stunning. So the display is good, the sound is good, the battery is good. Overall, it's a very good phone. However, what I bought this phone for was the camera. And that's what I want to get into, what I want to have the main focus of this review today. So right now to record this, I'm using this Sony camera, which is quite an expensive camera. It's a 4K camera, just as the one that is on here. So let's compare this phone camera to this Sony camera. Alright, so this is the image quality on the Sony camera that I've been using throughout this entire video. Now this is the LG V30. Now I've used this phone before in a lot of my previous videos. To be honest, the 4K quality is really good. However, one thing that I also want to show you is the sound that it produces. This is my Sony camera with my microphone attached. I have a microphone right here which I use to record my voice, and I think this microphone is better. However, this is the internal microphone of the Sony camera, and this is the LG V30 internal microphone. I think it's not all that good, however, it's sufficient. In the end, should you get this phone? To be honest, if you have a phone that you bought a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I think you should be completely fine. If you want to upgrade though, I really like this phone. The camera is really solid. The wide angle lens is kind of fun. I haven't played around with that. Front facing camera is a bit meh, but aside from that, it's a really solid phone and it gets the job done. Overall, the phone is really solid. I like it. The display is really good. There is like an amp for the headphone jack, which needs to remain in all phones. Like seriously, the idea that Bluetooth headphones will eventually conquer the headphone jack, I can understand it, but it's stupid. I don't like having less features on a phone that costs more.